Known as the nation's top cryptological organization, the NSA stands for the National Security Agency. Because it is a mass surveillance system and a world leader in the protection and exploitation of intelligence, it is thus classified as one of the largest U.S. intelligence organizations. NSA members are not only America's code makers, but also its code breakers. 6 months ago, on June 5, 2013, an article published by the British national daily newspaper, The Guardian, revealed that the United States National Security Agency issued a top-secret order to the telecom company Verizon, requiring them to give the NSA information on all telephone calls in its systems, both within the U.S. and between the U.S. and other countries on an ongoing, daily basis. The article continued with a statement, "The unlimited nature of the records being handed over to the NSA is extremely unusual." This article, published in response to the information leaked by ex-NSA employee Edward Snowden earlier this year, was the first of many articles revealing the clandestine global surveillance operations conducted by the NSA. Public outcry due to these articles led this information leak to become one of the most significant public controversies in United States history. However, debate revolving around the constitutionality of the NSA's actions is nothing new. Although it has never before resulted in the widespread controversy that it is today, the NSA has remained a mysterious entity since its establishment in the early 1950s. For more than half a century, the NSA's findings have dictated U.S. decision-makers and military leaders. The initial purpose of the formation of this agency was to interpret, decrypt, and analyze foreign adversaries' communications to give the nation an intellectual advantage over others. Eventually, however, the NSA began expanding its capabilities to its own people, to monitor, analyze, and ultimately judge private conversations amongst individuals. It is a tool used to intrude on the personal privacy of every American. There are no exceptions. The NSA's original mission, as stated in Executive Order 12333, is to gather foreign intelligence or counterintelligence while not acquiring information concerning the domestic activities of United States persons. The question we must now ask ourselves is, has the NSA violated the rules by which it must abide? The government is an institution that exists to stand as a symbol of freedom to guide and protect its citizens. The NSA started out as a means to protect America, but it soon grew into something that has been used against its own people. Therefore, when the government is working to expand its premises at the expense of its people's freedom, a controversy is bound to arise. After World War II, all cryptologic activities were centralized under a national organization called the Armed Forces Security Agency. But because it could not coordinate with civilian agencies who shared its interests, for example, the Department of State, the CIA, and the FBI, President Truman ordered a study to correct its shortcomings. On October 24, 1952, the NSA was established in a classified memorandum by President Truman. Its existence was not revealed to the American public at that time. During the Vietnam War, the NSA set up a secret operation known as Project Minaret to monitor the phone communications of prominent figures who opposed the war. An internal review by the NSA concluded that the project was disreputable, if not outright illegal. After President Nixon resigned, Senator Frank Church uncovered evidence of misuse of several intelligence committees. This led to the Church Committee hearings, during which the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of 1978 was passed into law. The act was designed to limit the practice of mass surveillance in the United States. President Obama has claimed that the NSA and its programs have congressional oversight. However, members of Congress were unaware of the existence of the NSA programs. They were also unaware of the secret interpretation of the Patriot Act, which the NSA uses to justify its actions. Furthermore, the NSA has also avoided investigation and verification of its activities and has been accused of illegally sharing information on public persons with other intelligence agencies. While a certain measure of public speculation regarding a national spying organization created by the government has always been present, no one truly understood exactly when, where, and how the government did this until Edward Snowden, a former NSA employee, took a stand to break the silence when he leaked a series of documents in early 2013. Through his disclosure, it had been revealed that the NSA intercepts telephone and internet communications of over 1 billion people worldwide, seeking information on terrorism as well as foreign politics, economics, and commercial secrets. Additionally, he revealed the existence of PRISM, a surveillance program operated by the NSA in which leading technological companies like Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and Apple provide the NSA direct access into the databases of systems that people regularly use to communicate, store data, or merely send private messages. Everything is being quantified and appropriated, and in a nation that is increasingly expanding its technological boundaries, there is no longer such thing as privacy. As Snowden added, it is true that the free market of ideas has lost its domain.
If you realize that that's the world that you helped create, and it's going to get worse with the next generation and the next generation who extend the capabilities of this sort of architecture of oppression.
Snowden, in his interview with The Guardian, had confessed his fear of what would happen to him since he leaked classified information, stating that he will live with fear for the rest of his life because, if the government wants to get you, they'll get you in time. He has been acquitted with charges of espionage and has fled the country to live under a political asylum in Russia. In September of 2013, it was leaked that the NSA has complete access to user data from individual smartphones and can wiretap even the most sensitive information, including contact lists, text messages, location information, and notes. Put simply, there is nothing on a smartphone that the government can't access. A dedicated unit of the NSA locates targets for the CIA for extrajudicial assassination in the Middle East. The NSA has also spied extensively on the European Union, the United Nations, and numerous governments including allies and trading partners in Europe, South America, and Asia. The NSA has managed to decrypt most of the internet, meaning that they have access to any records a person leaves behind online. Other whistleblowers include William Binney and Joseph P. Nacchio. Binney, a Penn State graduate and an ex-NSA official, was one of the most esteemed mathematicians and codebreakers ever to work for the NSA, but resigned in 2001 because he could no longer tolerate the numerous instances in which the organization deliberately violated the Constitution. He built a program called ThinThread, which was then acquired by the NSA to spy on all people living within the US. His program was designed to be able to track electronic activity like phone calls, text messaging, social networking, emails, and travel records, which was then collected to create real-time spying profiles of individuals that could map out any type of shared communication. In order to determine how vulnerable Americans' electronic systems were, cybersecurity expert Mark Wergler has created an application called Stalker that mimics the type of profile building that the NSA has achieved with ThinThread. His application has the ability to collect an individual's electronic data and compile it into a profile that reveals personal information like IP addresses, usernames, passwords, location information. It can also reveal one's brain activity and personal preference based upon search query history, online shopping sites, posted photos, and Facebook chats. Such activity has been and continues to be conducted by the NSA using programs similar to ThinThread. Binney has since apologized to the American people and is currently in the midst of speaking out against the NSA. The NSA's activities are dangerously arbitrary because while a great deal of technology is used to increase accuracy and prevent any possibilities of the breachment of national security, the information gathered does not always create accurate profiles of individuals. This leaves many innocent people subject to suspicion by the government as their private information ends up in the government's database for no reason.
And then they can use this system to go back in time and scrutinize every decision you've ever made, every friend you've ever discussed something with, and attack you on that basis to sort of derive suspicion from an innocent life and paint anyone in the context of a wrongdoer.
Whether or not someone has done something illegal, every human being is entitled to a private life. When the government blurs the lines between one's public and private life, or, in other words, what one chooses to show the world and what one chooses to keep to oneself, information like one's infidelities, mental illnesses that could be linked to the inability to pay taxes, bankruptcies, and even sex life is none of the government's business. The government has secretly interpreted the Constitution for its own convenience in order to violate the right to free speech for the sake of spying on potential terrorists. Some may argue that spies and secrets are necessary in order for a democracy to thrive. But is this still valid when the democracy itself is challenged? This is the price we pay for the technological conveniences we own. This is the world that we, as a nation, have created.